exactly 2 weeks before Election Day, as the marathon race for mayor was heading into the final sprint, Nicole Malliotakis broke her foot trying to avoid stepping on her dog. But she isn't letting the heavy boots she's lugging around as it heals, or the long odds she faces at the polls, weigh her down as she competes for control of Gracie Mansion. A long shot still has a shot, though, right? Malliotakis said during an interview Thursday, before a night spent stumping at galas and community meetings, boot and all. The Staten Island assemblywoman is a Republican running in a Democratic city, a woman who voted for President Trump in a town where he's deeply disliked. Polls put her around 40 points behind Mayor de Blasio, a Democrat, though she says her internal polls are more promising. De Blasio, Malliotakis, Dietl to square off in last debate. But Malliotakis has centered her run around other character traits. She's the child of immigrants, a Cuban exile mother and Greek father, who shaped her ideology. She'd be the youngest mayor in recent history, at 36. She'd also make history as the first woman, first Hispanic, and first Staten Islander to hold the post. Nicole Malliotakis with her dog Peanut at the 19th annual Great Pumpkin Dog Costume Contest at Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn on October 28, 2017. Nicole Malliotakis with her dog Peanut at the 19th annual Great Pumpkin Dog Costume Contest at Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn on October 28, 2017. Kevin C. Downs for New York Daily News. In political circles, she's known as a striver, ambitious and unafraid of a challenge, beating an incumbent in her first bid as a relative unknown to take her assembly seat. "We're in an interesting business where everybody wants to be guaranteed that they're going to win before they take on any of the risky opportunities," said State Senator Diane Savino, D. Staten Island, Brooklyn, the only other woman in Staten Island's Albany delegation. But Nicole had the guts to do it. Those guts have at times irked some of her colleagues as they scramble over a limited number of stepping-stone political opportunities in the borough. In the beginning, particularly men in her party were a little bit taken aback. "What makes her think she could run for mayor?" Savino recalled. "Well, what makes her think she could run for mayor is she is the one who had the guts to do it." Nick papers out. Social media use restricted to low-res file max 184 x 128 pixels and 72 pi. Mayor Bill de Blasio, Republican mayoral candidate Nicole Malliotakis and independent candidate Dietl debate at Symphony Space on October 10, 2017. Jefferson Siegel Poole. One person she's butted heads with used to sit with her in the assembly, Councilman Joe Borelli. At a recent news conference, where he stood beside her, he compared it to a sibling relationship. "Politics is a contact sport, and certainly heads butt from time to time," he said. "But at the end of the day, it's one thing to fight behind the scenes. It's another thing to be on somebody's team and put our best foot forward and work for Staten Island and New York City together." Despite a long record of conservative votes in Albany, Malliotakis, facing a broader electorate than ever, has run largely on 3Ts, traffic, transit and trash. She's frequently criticized the mayor for running social experiments or having ambition beyond his municipal office. "Let's get back to the basics here of city government. Meatless Mondays are great," she said after the mayor rolled out veggie lunches in some schools. "But people want, their garbage picked up." Her focus on those issues has at times felt misplaced. In a speech to the Association for a Better New York, an influential business group, she offered only her standard platform and had to be prompted to discuss economic development. One attendee sympathetic to the candidate called it a missed opportunity. Nicole Malliotakis at a news conference at City Hall on October 26, 2017. Nicole Malliotakis at a news conference at City Hall on October 26, 2017. Mark Lenneton AP. It was a much more hot-button issue that propelled her into the mayor's race, immigration and the city's effort to destroy records surrounding its municipal ID program. After talking about the issue of sanctuary cities on the Brian Lehrer show, she argues the city's current rules offer protection for crimes she deems too serious to shield from the federal government. People encouraged her to run, she said. So I said, maybe I should run for mayor. I don't know, maybe, I should, she said with a shrug. Because I really am not happy with what's going on. On the Thursday she spoke to the news. She held a news conference about property taxes with Borelli, and in the evening stumped at several events, expertly navigating the cocktail hour at a gala for Good Government Group Citizens Union on the Upper East Side, even if her boot might not have been her first choice in footwear to match a blue suit. After, she headed up to East Harlem and worked out her not-quite-fluent Spanish on the crowd at an Operation Equivalency Gala in Twin Towers. She was warmly received, especially by an 11-year-old girl named Abigail who recognized her, unprompted, and said she'd seen her on CNN. Assemblywoman Nicole Malliotakis shake hands with unidentified NYPD officers during the Morris Park Columbus Day Parade in the Bronx. Assemblywoman Nicole Malliotakis shake hands with unidentified NYPD officers during the Morris Park Columbus Day Parade in the Bronx. Louis C. Ribeiro for New York Daily News. Before she was candidate for mayor, Malliotakis said her weekends and evenings were pretty simple. She dotes on her two chihuahuas, Peanut, he's the one who tripped her up, and Olympia, who once caused her mother to fall and break her arm. She likes yoga and bike riding, and lamented she hasn't had much time to work out. But, if elected, she said she won't travel back to Staten Island to hit the gym, a veiled swipe at de Blasio, who continues to travel to Brooklyn to exercise. If I'm in Gracie Mansion, I'm probably going to have gym equipment there. I know there's a CrossFit and a yoga studio nearby, so I'll probably sign up for them, walking, not taking 3 SUVs to the gym, she said. She's single, but she doesn't anticipate much dating if she's elected. Now I have to have the police detail come with me on the date, she joked. I can't imagine there's many men who would want to put up with that. So, we'll focus on the job first and see what happens. But I just feel it's got to be awkward. Nicole Malliotakis with a sketch of one of her favorite musicians, John Lennon. Nicole Malliotakis with a sketch of one of her favorite musicians, John Lennon. Kevin C. Downs for New York Daily News. She is a devoted fan of Cher. She has seen her in concert 28 times, and of Beatles great John Lennon. A Republican who loves John Lennon and Cher, she said, aware of the irony. Lennon is the roundabout way she got started in another hobby, sketching. She visited an art studio in her district, where the owner had painted the Beatles, and asked him to teach her to draw John Lennon. He did, and since then she's expanded her scope, sketching Presidents Theodore Roosevelt and Ronald Reagan, renderings that sit behind her desk in Albany. She's decried the mayor's statue commission and was especially aggrieved by last week's vandalism of a sculpture of Roosevelt on horseback outside the Museum of Natural History. Nicole Malliotakis holding her Joan of Arc coin. Nicole Malliotakis holding her Joan of Arc coin. Kevin C. Downs for New York Daily News. The city is becoming divided. A whole bunch of groups feel alienated, and Teddy Roosevelt has been attacked, she said. Even Teddy Roosevelt is not safe in de Blasio's New York. He's my hero. She'll have another chance to take her gripes to the mayor on Wednesday at the final regular debate before the election. She had a strong performance in the first, but was a bit overshadowed by a circus-like atmosphere. That night, she carried a good luck charm, a coin depicting Joan of Arc. On the back, it reads, Saint Joan of Arc, give me the fortitude to defeat my fears and the strength to fight for what I believe in. A while back, she told Savino she planned to be like Joan of Arc to save New York City. So Savino says, you know that Joan of Arc was burned at the stake, right? Malliotakis recalled. I said, yeah. But only after she won.